Hi Chem students, welcome to our duo game show.
We are testing each other's knowledge of how well we know laboratory safety procedures.
Remember to always wear goggles at all times, never wear loose clothing, and always tie up your hair.
Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Question 1, are you allowed to change anything in experimental procedure? For example, if you don't want the system to run for 2 minutes.
Even if I disagree with the procedure, for example, even if I don't want the system to run for 2 minutes, and if I don't want to record the exact time, I would never change the lab procedure or skip any laboratory steps because of my disease, lazy-itis.
That is correct. You never want to modify or change any procedure in the experiment without an instructor's permission.
Okay, question numero dos. What do you do if you splash a chemical in your eye?
You should notify your teacher immediately and rinse both eyes in the eye wash for at least 15 minutes.
Correct! Make sure to follow this procedure very carefully. In any case with any chemical that is splashed into your eye, wash your skin. If made contact with any chemical, wash your skin for 15 to 30 minutes. If you see any chem student or any bio student doing a laboratory procedure without their goggles, please notify them to tell them to put on their goggles so none of these incidents or accidents would happen and you would have no chemicals in your eyes. Question 3. Is horseplay allowed in the laboratory setting?
No, horseplay is never allowed.
Yeehaw! That is correct. You don't want to be a horse in the lab, otherwise that can cause accidents, and always wear your goggles.
Question 4, is eating and drinking ever allowed in a laboratory setting?
Oh. Wait, say that again?
Alright, there is no absolutely eating or drinking in a scientific lab because the chemicals can potentially contaminate your food, which can make you sick. Also, no throwing in the lab. Also, remember to wash your hands with warm water and soap after dealing with chemicals.
Question 5. Can you directly look into a flask or a test tube?
No, you should never do that, especially when heating chemicals.
That is correct. That can cause harmful chemicals to possibly go into your eyes, which can damage your eyes.
6th question, how should you smell materials?
Just by smelling it with your nose?
Wrong. You should never directly smell materials unless you're instructed to. Utilize the wafting technique to make sure you don't actually inhale something harmful.
Oh, like this?
Yeah. Should you ever mix reagents?
No, unless you are told to do so by an instructor.
Yes. You don't know how certain reagents might react when you mix them. Question 8. How should you dilute an acid?
By adding water before the acid. Like this.
Correct. Adding the water before the acid prevents a dangerous exothermic reaction from happening.
Oh. How would you pick up that broken glass, Emma?
I try to pick up the bigger pieces with my hands and then vacuum up the smaller pieces.
Wrong. That is completely wrong. Where would you even find a vacuum cleaner in the science classroom?
Wow.
Never pick up broken glass with your hands. Always use a dustpan and a brush. Then pick up the broken then put the broken glass in a specific waste container.
Wow, that was close. I could have hurt myself. What do you do if you accidentally spill something?
Clean it up eventually.
No, you clean it up immediately. Depending on what you spill, it varies how to clean it up, so you should ask a teacher on how to clean it up. What should you do if an acid or base is spilled?
Duh, neutralize it.
Good.
Use a weak acid to neutralize a base.
Good. Neutralizing the acid or a base will make it less dangerous.
Can you ever leave a heat source unattended, Emma?
No, that's so dangerous.
Correct. That can cause fires and no one wants to deal with the fire, or someone could accidentally burn themselves. If a fire started from leaving a heat source unattended, the fire extinguisher can be used at your lab table.
Should you ever mix reagents?
No, unless you are told to do so by an instructor.
Yes, you don't know how certain reagents might react when you mix them.
Should you dispose of anything by throwing it down the drain or into the trash can?
Only if the teacher says it's okay to do.
Correct. Always make sure to follow the teacher's instructions when disposing of waste.
What if someone catches fire on themselves or someone catches fire?
Use the fire extinguisher.
No, the teacher should get the student on the ground and use the fire blanket to help put out the fire. If the person stays standing, they can have respiratory damage or hurt their eyes since the flames will travel upward.
What should a student do if he or she spills strong acid or strong base on themselves?
They should take off their clothes immediately.
Yes, that is correct. If he or she spills strong acid on themselves, then that student must stand under running water in the safety shower for at least 10 minutes.
That's all we have for today.
Please stay safe from what you hopefully have learned from our mistakes in our video.
If you need any help, call Sophia or Emma. Okay.
Question 3. Is horseplay allowed?
No, horseplay is never allowed.
That's correct. You don't want to be a horse in the laboratory setting because that can cause accidents. Right. Dose. What do you do if you splash a chemical in your eye?
You should notify your teacher immediately and rinse both eyes in the eye wash for at least 15 minutes.
Can you leave a heat source unattended?
No, that's so dangerous.
Correct. That can cause a fire and no one wants to deal with the fire. Or someone could accidentally burn themselves. If a fire is started from leaving a heat source unattended, the fire extinguisher can be used at your lab table.